don't know if you're like me, but I've been having a lot of trouble lately finding a cozy game that I actually like. And that was when I encountered on Steam Sky Children of Light. Specifically, I tried playing it because it's a free game and I'm poor, so I couldn't buy a new game that I wanted to play. And the graphics were very beautiful, so I gave it a try. What actually makes this game so freaking good? Because it's one of the best games I've played this year. So, the first thing that I will mention that makes this game so good is the music and the sound effects. And this is because they have outdone themselves making the soundtracks for the game, because the game has no voice acting. It literally depends solely on the music and the ambient sounds and the small sound effects that they have for characters and their actions. And it works because the music is so well done that it conveys everything it needs to convey. It makes the ambience feel completely natural and it makes you feel completely immersed into the experience. It's not actually missed in terms of the story either, because even if you can't hear what they're saying, their actions and the music and the sound effects all give you the idea of what's happening in the story, what the emotions are being conveyed in the story, and how it affects the world. So it's actually very, very beautiful because it shows that you don't have to have great voice acting. It could just be great music and great storytelling to tell an amazing story in a very beautiful world. And I mean, that will be engaging enough for you to actually want to play it, or view it, or like it. So now let's talk about the graphics. And I mean, they're not the most advanced graphics, nor are they the most beautiful and eye-catching since they're very polygonal, but what is highlighted from this design is the artwork, and it's because the color palettes chosen for this game are extremely beautiful and they fit so well with what they're trying to convey in the narrative of the story, as well as making you feel like you're actually in this game. Every color picked for the locations where you're at makes sense with what they want you to feel when you're in a specific location, and it's because each location has its own theme. So it makes sense that the colors will convey these themes. Also, they have different textures and the textures do the same. They make you feel like the environment in the game is specific and there is an actual purpose behind it. I really liked it, and I liked the way that everything was illustrated, from the characters to the towns to the environment. It was mostly handled with very organic shapes, but I thought it was a good way of handling it since it's very cozy and very beautiful, mostly concentrating on the actual color palettes and the feelings behind those color palettes than actually on very elaborate graphics that, well, they don't need to be that elaborate. They just need to be charming enough for you to want to play the game and keep playing the game, which I think they accomplish very well. Now, we also need to talk about the story because the artwork is very involved in the story and how everything plays out. In simple terms, the story is that there was this kingdom in the skies that was filled with light and beautiful environment. Everything was just perfect in the civilization until darkness overtook them. And then a new generation is born as the children of light, which hold flames within them, flames that illuminate the darkness. So, as a character, you're one of the children of light that comes down to this sky kingdom to illuminate them and bring light to the spirits and the world and just end the chaos and the darkness. I mean, it can be a bit cliche, but I think it's very well executed in terms of what they're trying to represent as the story and the actual world goes deeper than just giving you this lore about darkness and light and whatnot, it's more than that, because each stage and each place in the world represents one stage in life. At the beginning, it's childhood, it's beautiful and it's all wonder, and then it's more like growing up, and then adulthood, and then old age, and then eventually death. It's just like a cycle. And finally, you also have rebirth, and that's what actually is represented in the story, because you're coming to this civilization that was beautiful and had grown and had expanded, and well, they perished, and now you're their hope and their light, so they can be reborn. The story was very compelling in a way. As I said, it can be a bit cliche, but I mean, I binged it in 2 days because it was so good. But another thing that comes into play when it comes to the story, and not only the story but the gameplay, is that this game is an actual MMO, which it doesn't seem like one because you're mostly playing the story, but as you play the story, there are these like shadow children around you, but they're actually other players, and when you illuminate them, you can actually see what they look like and you can interact with them. And it's very nice because it actually brings a little bit more depth into this lore, that these new children of light are coming down from the skies, and they're this new generation bringing just light into the world. So it kind of makes sense that there are all these other players trying to accomplish the same thing as you are, and they're just there and they help you and you help them, and it's just so well done. In other games, I've just seen that they try to incorporate this multiplayer aspect without giving it much thought. But here, the multiplayer actually makes sense because it makes sense with the gameplay in a way, and it also makes sense with the story. And I mean, if this hasn't convinced you to play the game, I mean, it's free. You should all play it just because of the fact that it's free. But in all seriousness, it actually reminds me a lot about Zelda games in a way that you have this very compelling story about like good and evil or darkness and light and whatnot, and you're trying to like finish it, and actually you want to know what happens at the end, and it's very beautiful and very engaging with the player, which I really, really liked. It kind of feels like you're playing and watching a movie at the same time because it's very cinematographic. I mean, there's a lot of cutscenes and a bunch of storytelling aspects, and all the wide shots from the landscape just makes it feel like you're watching a movie while playing a game. So, what do you guys think? Have you played Sky? Do you want to play Sky? If you want to play Sky, you should play Sky. Let me know in the comments. And thank you all for watching. If you like my content, like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified for future videos. This is Cute Chan, and bye!